Alright, I'm standing in front of the Crackling Town Road sign, which you can see right there behind me. There's no sign going the other way saying Burnt Store Road, but that's the road right there that I'm going to be walking down. So I'm going to walk that way, and that's going to take me down the same route that Oswald Swann would have escorted the two after they left his place. Swann, I'm going to walk as I do this. Swann was a Weesort. Weesort is a name for people who had mixed racial heritage. So Oswald Swann, Swann being a Weesort last name, was part Native American, part African American, and part Caucasian. During the times, because of their mixed race, a lot of them lived kind of away from everybody else, and then that's how they got their name, is those people would say those sorts of people, and then they would start referring to themselves as we sort of people, just being that we are different, we sorts. And a lot of them lived actually near Zakiah Swamp. They had little houses back there kind of in the swamp, and they knew their way from the different paths that they would make to get in and out, and that's the place they lived. So Swann was a good guide in order to show them, a way to get through the swamp. But really, ultimately, from a telegram that was sent by one of the soldiers, after he talked to Swann, he talked about how Swann didn't actually take him any special way through the swamp. He took them via the main road, Centerville Road, which today is modern Route 6, which is once again the main way to get over the swamp in order to cross it and get west. But even if he hadn't picked them that way, even if they hadn't picked him and he wouldn't have taken them that way, Swann was definitely a good choice for a guide because he knew the area. Now, he was pretty young at the time. I believe Swann was, I want to say 30. But he had a couple children. In fact, there's another telegram or a letter written to the War Department because he was put in jail, even though he came forward and he shared, after he learned about the assassination of the president and he learned about what happened when one man had a broken leg, he came forward and he surrendered himself to Bryantown saying, I helped these people across. I didn't know who they were. Here's where I took them. So he fessed up, but still he was thrown in the old Capitol prison. And there's a letter that someone wrote saying that, he's got a wife and kids who are very much in need of him. Eventually he was released in May, I believe. I'm not sure the exact date. I have it written down somewhere. But for probably about a month, he was in prison in Washington, even though he was the one trying to help the investigators as opposed to everyone else. And I know I posted the other day about a letter from one of the soldiers who was investigating saying that the people down here are all traitors. But Oswald Swann tried to help the investigation and said, I took him to Samuel Cox's and they stayed there for a long time. And it was Mary Swann, Samuel Cox's former slave, who said, oh no, they never came in the house, and testified to that. And that's what kind of saved Samuel Cox from getting in further trouble, even though he was arrested too and they had strong suspicion on him, but they couldn't prove anything at the time. Alright, so I am walking on Burnt Store Road, and so right now I'm doing part of the route that they would have taken in order to get to across the Zakiah Swamp, and but I'm not going to walk the whole route because, like I said, that's 12 miles from Swann's place to Rich Hill, so I'm not going to be doing that today. But I'm going to walk part of the route, and then I'm going to walk back to where my car is parked, which luckily is not all the way back up at Dr. Mudd's house because that would be a nightmare to walk all the way back there again. But I'll leave you guessing where my car is parked. It is historically relevant to our little story here, and it's not too far. I don't know, probably take me about maybe about half hour, 45 minutes to walk there from here. So, this is Dave Taylor, signing out.